Goal says, I question text to grow my thinking. And I'm going to start off with a quote from Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein once said, blind belief in authority is the greatest enemy of truth. He's saying that if you just follow someone just because they're in charge and knowledgeable, without questioning what they say, and without talking back, and without growing your own ideas, you might not find out what the truth is. That got me thinking about some of the other important things to consider when you're reading nonfiction, especially when you've done as much work as you guys have to understand the whole big picture, the whole elephant of your topic. And that is to question the text. When I'm growing my ideas or questioning the text, there are some things I can think about that will prompt me. I can say things like, what does this text make me think? How does this idea differ from what other authors have said? Let me show you what this trick looks like. I'm going to ask you guys to open to the battle over GMOs.
You guys like my jam jam?
That did not require conversation. And right below where we were reading yesterday, I'm going to highlight, you can just underline, where it says, today 94% of soybeans and 93% of corn in the U.S. is genetically altered, and most of it ends up in processed foods. According to Grocery Manufacturers Association, up to 80% of what you eat has GMOs, but you might not know it. Unlike the European Union and places like India and Russia, the U.S. doesn't require foods with GMOs to be labeled. That whole part. And it says again, I'll read it. Today, 94% of soybeans and 93% of corn planted in the United States is genetically altered, and most of it ends up in processed foods. According to the Grocery Manufacturer Association, up to 80% of what you eat has GMOs, but you may not know it. Unlike the European Union, in places like India and Russia, the United States doesn't require foods with GMOs to be labeled. This has me thinking two things. It makes me wonder, why aren't GMOs labeled here? I could come up with a few different reasons. I know there's a lot about the fast food industry we learned and how they try not to pay workers as much money. So maybe GMO marketers take advantage of people for profit. So maybe in the United States, America would also have worked what I started to say. Maybe they're not labeled, and this is just me thinking and trying to decide and trying to question the text. Why? Why aren't they labeled here? And I know, like I said, fast food doesn't require a lot of things. It takes advantage of people. There's a lot of people in charge higher up there helping to make laws in order to make those systems stay in place. So I'm thinking maybe the GMO marketers, the people who are making these GMOs, might fight to keep GMOs unlabeled because they make a profit. So I wrote a little bit of text, and rather than just slapping a post-it in my notebook that says, okay, we don't label GMOs, but a lot of other countries do. Is that important to notice? Yes. But it's also important for me as a nonfiction reader to think, why is that? And that's where some of our reading and some of our growing from our topic needs to be happening. You guys have gotten past the point where you're starting to get a pretty big general basis knowledge of your topic, and you should have enough knowledge to be questioning some of these things that you're reading as you're going through them. There is another way to go about doing this. I could have asked myself, why aren't GMOs labeled here? I could have also asked myself, why do they label GMOs? Is it like a government thing? Is it a health system thing? I could think of it from two different standpoints. What is it about GMOs that makes some countries feel the need to label them and other countries not? Your reading today, I want you doing this. I want you stopping and not only going through and adding post-its. I continue to add these post-its, but you can also add post-its that are questions. Like here, like I think I already have one that says some unions race have differences of opinions. I don't have one that says it, but I could add in one that says like, why don't we label GMOs? I could add that as a post-it because later on, when I want to go back and do some research, that might be something I use for the jumping off point in my research. I should not see 4 heads at the same table laying down. When you're trying to go through and think about growing your own reading, I want you guys to jump back to this page. These are great things to think about when you're thinking about growing ideas. One is backing up your ideas. So when you come across multiple pieces of evidence from a text and you keep seeing lots of different sources that have the same evidence, this is growing your ideas because you're backing up ideas. This is the second one is what I just did, prompting to grow your own ideas. This is that where I said the text says, and it makes me think. A thought I have about this is, my idea differs from the author's when. I think. This makes me wonder. One theory I'm growing is because. I also see people, and this one comes a little more naturally, who question the text or question what the text is saying when they read something that contradicts or goes against what they've already read, or when it contradicts what they already believe. When that happens, consider what is your author's claim. Consider the reasons and evidence. Is the claim substantiated or unsubstantiated, meaning does it have enough evidence to support it? And then think, is the text making you rethink your ideas? In some cases it might, and in some cases it might not. These all go along with that idea that as you read, things will fit with, things will extend, or things will contradict what you already know. Those are those 3 ideas. Synthesizing is your reading, what fits with what you know, what extends what you already know or grows what you know, what contradicts what you think or already know. Please be aware of that today. I want you really thinking, am I stopping to think through my articles? Am I questioning the text, or am I just reading something and jotting a note down and reading something and jotting a note down? Because you guys are going to have to write and writing about this, so you need to be able to speak on a topic. You need to be able to explain about a topic, which means you need to understand and question the topic that you're looking at. Today, we have, it's a short lesson, so you guys have a little bit of extra time for research today. I would like to ask you to push yourself to read 3 articles today instead of 2. Or 2 videos, whatever, but you have videos or articles left. Because we didn't get a chance to do yesterday, and both of our lessons in reading and writing are pretty short today, so I just want to give you a little bit of time to think about your topic, to get through your information so you have more to write about. So, questioning your text as you grow, as you read, still continuing, still do keep putting notes in the topics like you were, different jots, but also put in some of your own thoughts into these jots, all right? If you are at home, make sure you are jotting on paper or on Google Docs or something so that when you come back, you can transfer it to your notebook.